Good afternoon from the beach at Byron Bay, Northern Rivers of Australia. Today we're going to talk about interconnectedness. We're going to talk about the intelligent design of the body. We are going to talk about the interconnectedness of selenium viruses, the thyroid and iodine. We're going to talk about the interconnectedness of melatonin, diabetes and the kidneys. And we're going to talk about the interconnectedness of heavy metals like mercury and lead with zinc and the brain in children with autism spectrum disorder. So if you're interested in any of that, keep watching. So today's video, as usual, is inspired by the Gaia theory, which states that all living organisms and their inorganic surroundings have evolved together as a single living system. Common sense, really, when you think about it. Also inspired by the statement by neurophysicist Carl Friston that the anatomy of any living system must contain within it a model of the environment from which it is immersed. Of course, that leads on to my two fundamental principles, that true health comes from living life in harmony with nature's laws, and Bitcoin is money for the people, by the people, part of the peaceful revolution. Now, I'm also going to do a separate video today for private members of my Patreon group, where I write every week about fundamentals of health, expanding on these ideas a lot, and also my research into cryptocurrencies. So today I'll be filming a private video for Patreon members where I talk about some of the updates in the cryptocurrency coins that we've been following. So if you're interested in joining this dynamic group, you can hang on to the end of the video and see the address for my Patreon group. Right, so the first thing I want to talk about was the thyroid. There's been a lot of information and research coming out lately about the benefits of selenium for the immune system and for the thyroid. In terms of the immune system, selenium stops viruses from attaching to our cells and injecting their DNA. So that's very important. We also know that it's very important for the thyroid, and what it does is selenoproteins in the thyroid have an antioxidant, antiviral effect, which protect the thyroid from autoimmunity and viral infection. And we know the most common cause of autoimmune disease of the thyroid is persistent Epstein Barr virus. So you can see the interconnectedness there, that if you've got adequate optimal levels of selenium, your immune system is going to work optimally to help minimize the chance of Epstein Barr virus infection, and also you're going to have this defense system inbuilt into the thyroid where it can protect itself from the virus. I of course get my selenium from seafood, usually caught locally, and also from Brazil nuts from Brazil. Second thing I want to talk about was melatonin, obesity and the kidneys and diabetes. And new research out this week has shown that melatonin helps protect our kidneys through its antioxidant effect from the high blood sugar associated with diabetes, from type 2 diabetes from obesity. So the best thing that I do to protect my kidneys is to have a healthy diet based on soul foods, seasonal, organic, unprocessed and local. And I make sure at night I protect my skin from blue light by having my house filled with red lights, and I wear blue light blocking glasses so that I preserve my own production of melatonin. Our own production of melatonin is going to be much better for me than taking a supplement, because my body knows exactly how much to excrete if I give it the right environment to protect my kidneys. And the third thing I want to talk about that was in the research this week was research into children with autism spectrum disorder, and it found that they had high levels of heavy metals in their hair and low levels of good minerals. So the interesting thing is that the metals they found that were high, the heavy metals they found were high, were mercury and lead, and the levels that were low in particular were zinc. Now the interconnectedness there comes from that how our body removes heavy metals from the brain is with protein structures called metallothioneins, and at the center of those metallothioneins is a zinc molecule. So zinc is critical for the metallothioneins of the brain to help get rid of heavy metals. So we're all surrounded by heavy metals. We've all got high levels, but we want optimal levels of zinc to make sure that we protect our omega-3 iodine-filled brains. Remember the critical nutrients for the brain are omega-3 fatty acids and iodine. And of course iodine, interestingly, has that interconnected weave as well, critical for the immune system because it helps kill viruses. And iodine is what our thyroid converts into thyroid hormone. Thyroid hormone T4 is a tyrosine molecule with 4 iodine molecules on it. So iodine and selenium, very important for the thyroid, also important for the brain. And zinc is critical for the brain to make sure that we have the metallothioneins which can help collate the heavy metals out of our brain. Of course, where do I get my zinc from? Get my zinc from locally produced oysters in these pristine waters. What about microplastics in oysters? Yes, it's a concern. One, how about we stop throwing plastics into the friggin' ocean? That'd be a good start. Let's not ruin the oysters, then blame the oysters. And secondly, make sure your oysters come from, know your oyster farmer, know the ocean that those oysters are grown in. And of course, the good thing about getting oysters from down here, Burleigh Heads and Byron, is that that's a marine nature park out there. So it's all protected waters. So it's one of the reasons I get there. All right, I'll stop this video now. I'm going to make my video about what's happening in the cryptocurrency markets. If you want to join us on Patreon, that's coming up. Peace and love. Talk to you next week. Bye.